You know the number. You know the color. There's no doubt about who this car belongs to. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels 1970 Plymouth Superbird art car. Why Hot Wheels? Why? It's got staggered, mismatched wheels, ghastly tampos on it, all screaming for a makeover. But it's also got good bones. Obviously, I can't leave it in this state, so by viewer request, I'm converting this one into the iconic Richard Petty NASCAR version with a custom paint mix and period-correct sponsor decals. Stay tuned to the end of this video because you're not going to recognize this when I'm all finished with it. According to my wiki research, the Plymouth Superbird is a highly modified, short-lived version of the Plymouth Road Runner, with applied graphic images as well as a distinctive horn sound, both referencing the popular Looney Tunes cartoon character of the day, the Road Runner. It was the factory's follow-up stock car racing design for the 1970 season to the Dodge Charger Daytona of 1969 and incorporated many engineering changes and modifications, both minor and major, garnered from the Daytona's season and competition. The car's primary rivals were the Ford Torino Talladega and Mercury Cyclone, a direct response to the Mopar Aero car. It's also been speculated that a motivating factor in the production of the car was to lure Richard Petty back to Plymouth. The Superbird famously featured a protruding aerodynamic nose cone, a high-mounted rear wing, and a horn mimicking the Road Runner's signature meep. There's the king, happy with his new car. Say goodbye to that horrific design. In the fall of 1968, Richard Petty left the Plymouth NASCAR Racing Team for Ford's. The Superbird, however, did indeed effectively lure him back to Plymouth for the 1970 season. Petty did very well against strong Ford opposition on the NASCAR tracks that year, winning a season-leading 18 of the 40 races he entered, adding 9 other top 5 finishes and placing 4th in the overall championship, having missed a chance to earn points in the 7 races he missed due to an injury suffered at the 1970 Rebel 400. All set now for a spray can primer treatment. The next video in the queue here at Maple Leaf Customs is my second Space Cruiser Trash Bash build that I've been working on for some time now. You'll see that and these other customs coming up soon if you come back regularly for new Saturday uploads, and I hope you will, because it's all free for you, and a thumbs up or a new sub helps me tremendously. Thanks for doing that. The Superbird is ready for paint now. I'm using the Kaleido Sky Blue as my base color. I simply added a couple of drops of white to lighten it up a little bit. Test it out on a white spoon, and happy with what I see, I proceed to miscoat. Take a little break and come back with a second coat and then a wet coat on this one. Giving me a very nice result. I can recommend all of the Gaahleri products, airbrushes, and their new line of Kaleido acrylic paints that you see me use. Click on my affiliate link in the video description below for 10% off anything you see on their website. Because of the petty racing blue body color, I need to apply my decals in 2 stages, beginning with ghost white decals all around. I make all of my own using the basic desktop publishing software that comes on my Mac. I'll let these set in my dehydrator for a couple of hours before proceeding with the Stage 2 decals. Today's community shout-out goes to Can-Am Customs on Instagram, whom I enjoy following, and you will too. I've left a link in the description so you can easily access his page. Of course, there are all kinds of Google images of Richard Petty's race car. I was particularly interested in these interior shots so that I could customize my Hot Wheels one-piece plastic unit. I snip out the steering wheel and the top part of those front bucket seats and then grind them away so there's only a floorboard left. I printed a single racing seat, which according to the pics needs to be black, and have some NASCAR approved safety harnesses. I put those in with a little bit of Mod Podge, which dries clear. There's my new 3D printed steering wheel, painted in black. Petty blue for the interior. This is a micro tiny fire extinguisher that I paint red. And with a roll cage that you'll see through the back window, and a safety pin stick shift with a white knob, that's ready to pop into place. This is drywall tape. I'll use that for the safety mesh on the driver's side windows of these NASCAR racers. A Molotov chrome refill gives me a couple of drops of chrome paint that I can apply with a very fine paintbrush to accentuate the features on the undercarriage. On the last Superbird I did, an astute viewer pointed out something that I had overlooked, and that is that the rear bumper is chrome. So I address that now. I didn't want to make the same mistake twice. Now I can apply the top color decals. In the case of the numbers, it's really just a dark blue outline, but they need to be placed precisely on top of the ghost white decals. Nice effect. So I continue around with the numbers on the doors and the trunk. When it comes to the old school sponsor decals on the front fenders, I sourced them on Google Images, one by one, based on some accurate historical pics that I found. They're never the same for two different races. Then I resized them again to fit exactly over top of the ghost white decals I've already laid down. Those are the tiny details that are absolutely crucial, I think. Remember those original wheels? Different sizes, different styles, different colors. They won't do. I found these Goodyear Eagles in my stash. They're real rubber, but I don't like the rims, so I took these white Samed wheels apart. They fit the rubber. All I've got to do is paint those rims black. Still not exact, but a whole lot better. Two coats of Kaleido clear gloss later. Everything's bright and shiny and set and ready to reassemble. There's the mesh on the glass. It'll fit inside when I put the pieces together. Fully customized interior. As is the chassis and the replacement custom wheel combo. Nice when everything goes back together just the way it should. Let's have a closer look. I think it turned out really well. I got a good match on the Petty Racing Blue. The wheels look good, as do the decals and the period correct sponsors up front. I think it'll pass for Richard Petty's Superbird. A far cry from this one. They're marketing the kids. I get it. I just don't like it. Now that's a ride fit for the king. Did my best to catch all the details, circa 1970 and Saturday mornings of Wide World of Sports. Such great memories for me and all those of my generation, I think. I made up a custom acrylic case for this one. There's the Superbird himself in there. NASCAR on the base. And a certificate of authenticity for MLC build number 434. This one's going to be for sale. It'll ship out just like this. You can place your competitive bid on my YouTube community post, not here in the description of this video. I'll leave the bids open for a week. PayPal only, please. I'll add $10 for worldwide shipping. Thanks for visiting my channel again today. I hope you enjoyed the Richard Petty conversion. Drive carefully. It's coffee time.